What's going on? It's Mr. Jackson here, back at it with another EDH deck tech for you. And since it's October, we're gonna channel our inner spooky, and we're gonna be talking about some demons today because demons are pretty scary. We got some candles going here. Hopefully, we can channel some dark energy while we're doing this. Hopefully, it's not a bad idea. I do have a cat roaming around, and he likes to hop up here. So hopefully he doesn't knock these over and just burn my deck, because that would be very, very unfortunate. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Today we're doing Belakor, the Dark Master. He's one of the new commanders from the Warhammer 40k sets. Picked this one up. I actually pre-ordered this deck. Played like a couple of games with it just to see how it was out of the box. Abaddon's good as the commander for that. Belakor's terrible as the commander for that precon. So if you're going to keep that together, that's my 2 cents. Choose Abaddon. I took this deck apart and made it Demon Tribal. There's a lot of spice in it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. So let's hop into it. Belakor is a 3 generic, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 red, Grixis. Legendary creature, Demon Noble. He's a 6/5, flying. When he enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. And then, whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Really, really good. Even if he's just coming out by himself, then you're still going to draw 1 card. You do lose a lot of life in this deck. At the end, I'll make a few additions that I just don't have. I couldn't find. So, yeah, we'll get into that here in a bit. So, demons are cool. Demons are very expensive. So we're running a pretty big ramp package here. We're doing a Thought Vessel, Decanter of Endless Water, Wayfarer's Bauble, Worn Power Stone, Soul Ring, Commander Sphere, a Felwar Stone, Chromatic Lantern, Rakdos and Dimir Signet, Talisman of Indulgence, Dominance, and Creativity. And then, I think I've talked about this card more than any on my channel, Black Market. Whenever another creature dies, you put a charge counter on it. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add black to your mana pool for each charge counter on Black Market. So, you're building up a pretty scary board state. Someone's going to want a board wipe. That's cool, because you're about to get a bunch more mana to be able to do more things on your next turn. Then we have Dark Ritual, just a little short burst of mana there. So we've got a lot of demons in here. Some of the demons I took out from the new set because they just didn't work. But we'll go into the newer ones here in a little bit more detail. Exalted Flamer of Tzench, I can't say that. 2 blue and a red, creature demon. He's a 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, the Exalted Flamer of Tzench deals 1 damage to each opponent. We aren't running a lot of instants or sorceries in here. The ones we are running, you probably want to get back in your hand. We have a few counter spells. We'll get into that package here in a little bit, but this one's handy for recurring some of those instants and sorceries back to your hand. Other than that, just a 2/4 demon to help you get more card draw when you cast him for the first time. Great Unclean One. 4 and a black. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 2 life. Then for each opponent who has less life than you, create a 1/3 black demon creature token named Plague Bearer of Nurgle. He's a 4/5. Again, he's just another one that's going to help you draw more cards in the earlier game. You know, if you get him in your opening hand, you want to get him out before Belakor. Then you can at least maybe hope to get 3 or 4 cards. Pretty good. Plague Drone, this is good against life gain decks. He's 3 and a black, 3/3 demon. He has flying. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. So just a handy little demon to have if you're going up against someone that's trying to gain a bunch of life on you. you're going to be able to hit him in the face for a lot of damage, but it's kind of goes against our game plan for them to be gaining life, so that's a good one. Blood Crusher of Khorne. Other creatures you control have trample. He himself has trample. He does not have flying, though. He's a 3/3, 3 generic, and a red. You know, sometimes you're going to have some... You're going to be playing against some dragons. You're going to want to trample through on some of that and hopefully not die. Alright, so some of the older demons that we're running in this deck are really, really good. Master of Cruelties, 3 generic, a black and a red, first strike, death touch. He can only attack alone. Whenever Master of Cruelties attacks a player and isn't blocked, that player's life total becomes 1. Master of Cruelties assigns no combat damage this combat. He's a 1/4. If you can get him through unblockable with like a Rogue's Passage, you can take someone from 40 life to 1 just by swinging him. He's pretty cool. Herald of Anguish. He has Improvise. He's a 5/5 for 5 generic and 2 black. He's flying. At the end of your end step, each opponent discards a card. Then you can play 1 in a black to sacrifice an artifact, and target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. You know, I honestly just threw this one in because I think it's kind of funny. We aren't running like a heavy discard theme with this, but you know, I feel like demons they just want to take people's resources away, so that's just an additional, you know, you have to discard a card at the end of my turn. Intersturm Raider, he's a 1 and a red, by far the cheapest demon that we have in this deck. When he enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. He's a 2/1. Definitely one you want to get out early game. You know, if you have someone that's at 2 life, you can play him and ping him in the face for 2. But other than that, yeah, definitely one that you just want to get out maybe turn 2 or 3 to help you get more card draw. Belakor, this is a recent one I picked up. Got the foil extended art. I think he looks really sick. Flying, whenever he attacks or dies, choose 1 or more. Each mode must target a different player. He's a 5/5 for 3 and 2 red. The first mode is target opponent draws 3 cards, then discards 3 cards at random. So if someone's got 3 cards in their hand, you make them draw 3, and then yeah, hopefully make them discard the rest cards in their hand. Target opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact. Baylor deals damage to target opponent equal to the number of cards in their hand. So if you've been playing against someone that's been drawing a bunch of cards, that's a good one to, you know, ping them in the face for all that. Runescarred Demon, he's a 6/6 for 5 black and 2 red. 5 generic and 2 black. Flying, when he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card, put it in your hand, and then shuffle. We're not running any sorcery speed tutors. We are running a couple of demon-based tutors because that's what they do. Same thing with Burning Rune Demon. He's a 4 and 2 black flying, 6/6. When he enters the battlefield, you may search your library for 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon that have different names. If you do, reveal those cards. An opponent chooses one of them. Put the chosen card into your hand and the other into your graveyard, then shuffle your library. It's pretty good if you know, have that one demon that you just want to put on the battlefield. You can tutor him up and, you know, like animate dead. So your opponent's either going to have to let you choose to keep that one, or they're going to have to let you throw it in the graveyard to animate it. And then Vergoth, Bloodsky Sire, he's 2 and a black, Death Touch 2/3. He has Boast, so you have to attack with him and be able to do this. 1 and a black, target player searches the library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. So, just a good way to, you know, tutor something that you need to the top. And then once you got that to the top, you want to cast Lord of Change. He's 6 and a blue. Flying, Ward 3, he's a 6/6. When he enters the battlefield, Draw 3 cards. Decent. Villis, Broker of Blood. My boy. My boy. He's 5 and 3 black. Legendary demon, flying. You can pay it black, pay 2 life. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And the best part about this guy, whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. Belakor comes in after he's been out. You have like 3 demons. You're going to lose 3 life, draw 3 cards, and then draw 3 more off of Belakor. It's pretty good. Indulgent Tormentor. He's 3 and 2 black for a 5/3. Beginning of your upkeep, draw a card unless the target opponent sacrifices a creature or pays 3 life. Late game, this is pretty good. When you've got your opponents down to 11 life, he's pretty good because nobody's going to want to sacrifice a creature or pay 3 life. Early game, probably pretty low impact, but at the same time, he's a little cheaper costed, and he hits for 5 when he enters the battlefield with Belakor. If you have something else you'd like to take out, this is like the final edition that I added to the deck. There are a few other demons that I've been thinking about putting in for him, but for the time being, he's in. Lord Xander the Collector. 4, Grixis. He's a legendary creature, Vampire Demon Noble. When he enters the battlefield, target opponent discards half their hand, half the cards in their hand rounded down. Whenever he attacks, defending player puts half their library, mills half their library. Sorry, it's a little dark in here, so I'm having trouble reading. And then when he dies, target opponent sacrifices half the non-land permanents they control rounded down. He's a 6/6. I had to throw him in here. He's mean, he's oppressive, he hits for a lot. Reaver Demon. When he comes into play, if you played it from your hand, destroy all non-black, non-artifact creatures. They can't be regenerated. There's a few creatures in here that you'll end up wiping out of your own, but for the most part, this is just going to be a board wipe. He is a lot of mana, 4 and 4 black, but he's a 6/6. We're going to get to this point here in a little bit, but a lot of these demons are very high costed. We have a lot of ramp. We also have a lot of good cards to reduce the mana cost of some of these demons. So don't worry about necessarily having to spend a lot of mana. Yes, you will early game just to get some of your pieces in play, but once you've gotten there, if you've tutored for the right things, then you can spit out 4 or 5 demons in one turn. So don't worry too much about that. Archfiend of Depravity. He's 3 and 2 black. Beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls, then sacrifices the rest. He's a 5/4. Just a good way to, keep some of those creatures that are going to try to come at you off the board. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died I'm way ahead of myself. Reaper from the Abyss. He's 3 and 3 black. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, destroy a target non-demon creature. He's a 6/6. He comes in, he's going to deal 6 damage to something. It could be a creature, it could be someone's face, but if you want to get, a couple of different death triggers, kill a couple of creatures, then just hit someone's creature and then destroy another one at the end step. Shadowgrange Archfiend. He's 6 and a black. He has Madness, 2 and a black, pay 8 life. Madness is if you would discard him, you can cast him for that Madness cost. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. You gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures sacrificed this way. He's an 8/4. Pretty good. You'll more than likely be casting him for his actual cost and not his Madness cost, just because we don't have a lot of ways to discard cards in this. But yeah. We got Rakdos, Lord of Riots. So we're getting into the cost reduction section of the deck. We have a few cards. A couple of them are demons, so that's great. We got Rakdos, Lord of Riots. This is one that will really, this is one you'll probably want to tutor for. He's 2 black and 2 red. You can't cast Rakdos, Lord of Riots, unless an opponent lost life this turn. He's a flying trample. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each 1 life your opponents have lost this turn. So you have him in your hand, you are totally untapped, you haven't tapped any of your mana. Move to combat, swing belakor in. Congratulations, all of your demons are reduced by 6. That means you can cast Shadowgrange Archfiend for 1. You just have to pay the black pips on literally all of your demons. So that's awesome. Dream Devourer, he's 1 and a black. Demon Cleric, 0/3. Each non-land card in your hand without a foretell has foretell. Its foretell cost is reduced by its mana cost. Is reduced to its mana cost by 2. That didn't make sense. Essentially, you pay 2 on your turn. Put one of your cards in your hand face down. The next turn comes around, you pay 2 less to cast it. Essentially, you're paying now to pay less later. Herald of Slanesh, he's another demon, 2 and a red. Demon spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Other demons you control have haste. He's a 2/2, so you get him out early enough, all your demons will be coming in with haste, cheaper, amazing. Heartless Summonings is an enchantment, 1 and a black. Creature spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. There is a downside to it. Creatures that you control get -1/-1. Someone in the comments will have to tell me how this works with ETB. So a demon enters the battlefield. Does belakor see the original cost or the -1/-1? That would be much appreciated. I should know that beforehand, but the deck's fairly new. That's a new card I just picked up yesterday. So, whatever. Nightshade Familiar. He's a zombie, not a demon. But he's 1 and a black, 1/1. Blue spells and red spells you play cost 1 less to play. Just a good early game way to get something cheaper. Herald's Horn. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. So it's card draw, it's reduction, it's an artifact. So that's pretty cool. So we got a few recursion pieces as well. People are going to want to take out your demons, so it's cool to get them back from the graveyard. We have Animate Dead. It's a lot of text there, so I'm just going to skip reading it and say it's an enchantment. If you play it, you can return a creature from your graveyard. It's going to have 1 power less. That's it. Persist. It's 1 and a black. A lot of our demons are non-legendary, so this is actually pretty cool. Return target non-legendary creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with a -1/-1 counter on it. Definitely a cool thing to have. And then Phyrexian Reclamation is an enchantment, 1 black. You can pay 1 and a black to pay 2 life. Again, if you have Villas out, you're going to pay 1 and a black, draw a card, draw 2 cards, and then return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's a nice little piece. I just picked that one up too. Displacer Kitten. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. So, cast a, cast a Ghostly Flicker. You get to bounce something, then you get to bounce something again. That seems pretty good, especially when you're going to be pinging people in the face for 6, for 8, for 7. Thassa Deep Dwelling is a god enchantment creature for 3 and a blue. Indestructible, and as long as your devotion to blue is less than 5, Thassa isn't a creature. I don't think we'll actually ever get to the point where your devotion to blue is going to be 5. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't think of anything. Xander has a blue pip. Belakor has a blue pip. This has a blue pip and this has a blue pip. I don't remember any other blue. Oh, I guess it could be. It could, but you'd have to have all of your blue demons out. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to one other target creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under your control. So, just more things to blink some of your demons back into the battlefield to deal more damage, or if you want to target Xander, draw more cards. Then we got Ghostly Flicker. Exile 2 target artifact, creatures, and or lands you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. The thing I like about this is lands. We have a Cabal Coffers in here. You can target the Cabal Coffers to generate more mana, and then one of your creatures as well. Panharmonicon. It's 4 costing artifact. If an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So you get 2 belakor triggers for 1 demon. That's pretty good. Rite of Replication. This card with belakor on the battlefield, just you win. You win the game. There's nothing that anybody can do except counter it or kill belakor. But other than that, nothing they can do. There will be, I've done the math, it's upwards of 100 points of damage. I think it's like 150 points of damage just by playing this card, targeting belakor. It's 2 and 2 blue, kicker 5. Put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of target creature. If Rite of Replication was kicked, put 5 of those tokens onto the battlefield instead. And now I know what you're saying, wait, but Bellacor's legendary rule. Yeah, but that's going to be belakor seeing 5, 6, 5s entering the battlefield. That's going to be 5, 6, 5s seeing 4 other 6, 5s entering the battlefield. So, like I said, I'm not going to do the mental math right here, but I'm pretty sure it's like upwards of 100. And you can stack the triggers so that you don't kill yourself essentially before you kill everybody else. So, pretty good card in this deck. Warstorm Surge is just belakor is an enchantment. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So you can be doing a lot of damage here, having both belakor and a Warstorm Surge with a Displacer Kitten, with a Ghostly Flicker, with a Thassa, with a Panharmonicon. I think you get what I'm getting at. You see what I'm getting at here. Card draw. We honestly aren't running that much card draw, which is nuts, but we have a lot of ways to get cards into our hand already. Vilist is technically card draw. Belakor is technically card draw, but strict card draw, we're running Greed. It's 3 and a black enchantment. Pay 1 black, pay 2 life. Again with Vilist, pay 2 life, draw all 3 cards instead of the 1. Pretty good there. Siphon Mind, again, we're not doing a discard theme, but each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. It's a sorcery, just to, really stick it to your opponents that you're playing the arch enemy at the table. Malakir Rebirth, you choose target creature, lose 2 life. Until end of turn, it gains when this creature dies. Return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Just a good way to protect your commander, protect one of your key demons that you don't want to lose. Swiftfoot Boots, equipped creature has hexproof and haste. I think that one's kind of goes without saying. A little bit of interaction we got here. Rakdos Charm, it's modal, so it's good because you have a few different options here. The black and a red, exile all cards from target player's graveyard, destroy target artifact, or each creature deals 1 damage to its controller. So if you're going up against someone that's playing a big token theme, you can just kill them with their own tokens with that for 2 mana. Vandal Blast, destroy target artifact you don't control, or you can overload it. I think that one's kind of a staple, so everybody kind of knows what that is. It's a good card. Chaos Warp, the owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they may put it on the battlefield. You you can use this on some of your demons. Like if you have something out that's like, you know, a two power or something like that, shuffle it back into your library and hope for a bigger demon on top. Kind of embrace a little bit of chaos there. We have a few counter spells as well, just to help keep your things around. An offer you can't refuse. It's 1 blue. Counter target non-creature spell. We're going for the cheaper ones here just because we aren't honestly leaving up a bunch of mana. We have counter spell, counter target spell, and then Pact of Negation. It's 0, so you can sit there with no mana up and still be able to counter. Board wipes. Decree of Pain. This is, you know, it costs a lot to cast this one. It's 6 and 2 black. Destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. I like it because you draw a bunch of cards. On the cheaper end of board wipes, we have a Blasphemous Act. Getting into the lands, I'm not going to go super into it because we have some basics. But you know, you can kind of build the lands however you want. The ones we're going to talk about are Cabal Coffers, Urborg. You know, this makes all of your lands swamps. This taps to add black for each swamp you control. Takenuma, Abandoned Mire, just some graveyard recursion to get some of your demons back. Jukabog, someone's got some graveyard strategy going on, you can get rid of their graveyard with it. And then a Rogue's Passage to help you get your Master of Cruelties or some other demon that you want to get through. Like I said, this, you know, my mana base on this isn't the most optimized, but you can build it however you see fit with whatever you have laying around. I do have a Shock. I don't have any fetches. I have the Triome, Temple of the False Gods, some of the like Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse. If you crack a Terramorphic Expanse or Evolving Wilds, obviously play to what's going on the table, like what you have already. But my personal advice is to just choose blue. You're going to be wanting for more blue than you are any of your other colors, so just find an island or something. If it's early game, you have an island in your hand. Cool, that might be I mean, you have a few islands in there, but depending on how you build the mana base, I would say just find an island. Some cards that you may want to consider adding to the deck. Erebos, Whip of Erebos, just to give your demons lifelink. That's kind of it. If I had a Whip of Erebos, it would be in here, is essentially what I'm saying. Pick your demons however you like, depending on your meta. Like I've said a million times, I play on Spell Table, so it's pretty versatile. I've been picking up demons since the precons were announced, and I've had a good collection of them. So thanks for checking out the video. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys liked the theme. I picked up this new playmat, got these candles going. So happy October, happy Halloween if I don't make another video beforehand. Thanks for checking out the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out tremendously. Yeah, you guys have a great day. Thank you.